All right, folks. Can everyone see me? It's good. I hope the camera's turned on. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. I got my Phil Collins shirt on. That means things are about to get serious. Because we are going to be talking about one of the greatest first books in a fantasy series I've ever read. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Book number 1 in his Nevernight series. Nevernight, followed by God's Grave, followed by Dark Dawn. All three of these books, awesome. I'm going to review book number 1 right now. Nevernight. Came out a couple of years ago. Man, I was struck by how awesome the cover was. Gosh, I just love that cover. It is it's fly. It is super fly. It is a super awesome, smoking hot book cover. I love when publishers put together not only a great book, but package it with a great illustration and great cover design. And Nevernight, man, they knocked it out of the park. So that got my attention right off the bat in the bookstore. And I bought this the day it came out. And man, I was not disappointed. From the very first sentence, I was hooked. And this is, I'm going to warn everybody right now. This is not a book for kids. In fact, I would not read your toddlers to sleep with this book because it will traumatize them for life. It is a rated R book. It's a hard rated R book. So let's get that out of the way first. You're going to be dealing with a lot of blood and guts and sex and if you're not prepared for that, because I know a lot of people out there, they don't like the rated R. They don't like the R ratings. They just don't. They're turned off by it. I don't know why, but they are. So let's just get that out of the way first. This thing is bloody gruesome and, in my opinion, bloody fucking awesome. For its gruesomeness. And it starts out with one of the most gruesome lines in a history of opening lines of a fantasy book. I won't spoil that for you here. I'll let you open the book up and discover that for yourself. That's the great part about my reviews. I don't do many spoilers, if any at all. And I just do general reviews and I let you discover all of the plot twists and turns and characters all on your own. I just give a general sort of, I just gush about the books I love. If you want to know a little bit about this, though, we'll get into a little bit of it. I'm not going to leave you just totally hanging, not even describing anything. Let's talk a little bit about Nevernight and the world that Jay Kristoff has invented here with Nevernight. Imagine a setting, kind of like picture yourself in Italy, first of all. Picture yourself in a city named God's Grave, a city built on the bones of the dead god. That's why it's called God's Grave. It makes sense, right? You're in a land that looks like Italy, in a city built on the bones of a god, and the sun never sets. There is no night. The sun never goes down. There is no night. That's why the book is called Nevernight. Again, this stuff is easy to figure out, folks. It ain't rocket science. From the get-go, we're not dealing with hardcore brain surgery type themes here. It's pretty simple. But let me tell you something. A gruesome beginning, a gruesome middle, a gruesome end, a gruesome everything in between, foul language, bloody good fun. Imagine a Quentin Tarantino fantasy on steroids, and that's what you get. This book, and let's just give Jay Kristoff a shout out for, this book soars with vivid descriptions, delicious writing, scintillating dialogue. He's got a very, 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 very stylized writing style in this. And I've read some of the reviews on Goodreads and Amazon.com, and I'll tell you, I'll be frank with you, a lot of people do not like or care for his extremely stylized writing style in these books. Me, nah, I think it's fantastic. I think it is perfect for the tone of what he's going for. And I won't spoil even the style of writing. I want you to discover that on your own, because that's the fun of this world. Actually, the way he writes this book is part of the world building, if that makes sense at all. I mean, the style of writing that he does fits in the society that he's created. This sort of Baroque, Gothic, Italian, stylized, very Shakespearean, very dramatic world that he's created. And here's the thing. A lot of people don't like that. You know, and that's fine. That's to their taste. It is very, it's a gruesome book, full of gruesome, nasty things, and very stylized writing, and a lot of people don't like that. But here's the thing that I appreciate about it, because I loved it, and I appreciate when a writer takes a chance with something new. I mean, he is not playing it safe. He's not just bunting the ball to get on first base with his writing or his story. He's not just trying to hit a single to get himself on base. I mean, he is swinging for the fences. Because when you swing for the fences, there's a possibility you're going to hit a home run. And in my opinion, this guy, Jay Kristoff, hit an absolute home run grand slam with this first book, Nevernight. Not only with his storytelling, but his writing style and his characterizations, and all of it combined. Man, he was swinging for the fences, and he knocked it right out the fucking park, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of people that think he struck out. So, if you want to enter this world, just know that it may not be for you. But if it is for you, I mean, it's really, 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 really gonna be for you. What's the story about? Well, let's talk about it. Mia Corvair. She's a little girl. Her parents are killed by the evil people, the evil nobles in the city of God's grave. And Mia Corvair goes and joins the School of Magic. She goes to Hogwarts. No! She goes to the exact opposite of Hogwarts. She goes to an assassin school for young children called the Red Church. And oh man, if there was any place opposite of Hogwarts, it is the Red Church. And she learns how to be a stone cold, badass, take no prisoners, take no shit from nobody, just icy cold killer. There's no other way to put it other than she turns herself into, man, she is just evil at times, just evil. And that's what's cool about it, especially the way in which Jay Kristoff writes this story. And I'm telling you, I have not read a start to a fantasy series as exciting as Nevernight since, I'd say, Scott Lynch's Lies of Loch Lamora. That's how, and I can't describe how, I mean, I just love it. I just thought it was everything that I wanted. Not only, I mean, with the way that he writes and the story that he tells and the character of Mia, her parents are killed. She goes to this assassin school. She becomes an assassin and wreaks her revenge. That's the story. That's the plot right there. I mean, that's it. That's all you really need to know to get you started on this fantastic bloody adventure. That's all you need to know. I love the way that Jay Kristoff, I'm sorry if I keep getting him mixed up with Scott Lynch, but Jay Kristoff, Nevernight series, and Scott Lynch's Lies of Loch Lamora really, really, really remind me of each other. I mean, they are almost like peas in a pod. So if you like the Lies of Loch Lamora, you're going to love this. And I love the way that he builds his world. Jay Kristoff builds this kind of Italian Riviera type, Venice type world, like you're in ancient Rome all the time, in a city that never sleeps, where the sun never goes down. And you've got assassins crawling around. You got all sorts of political intrigue. You got gladiators and thieves and just all sorts of stuff happening all the time with witty characters that you love. Not only is Mia Corvair, I mean, I love the way he names his characters. I mean, we've got Old Man Mercurio, we've got Trick, Drusilla, Mouser, Adonai, Julius, Francesco. I mean, you get the naming convention. I mean, like I said, he's not really going super far out there to name his characters. He's kind of keeping them grounded in that Italian sort of flavor. You know, everybody smokes a cigarello. Everybody smokes. You know, it's really cool. It's really cool. And the underworld. It's like the perfect description of this is like someone took The Sopranos and put it in a fantasy world. That's really what it is. I mean, I love that someone took The Sopranos and put a young girl killer assassin in the middle of The Sopranos and then switched it all to a really cool Italian fantasy world, and that's what you got. That's where you're at. I mean, it's got a really dark humor like The Sopranos. I mean, you got to really pay attention to just it's dripping with dark humor and dark scenes and just I loved it. It was like delicious. It was like eating a chocolate cake with just bloody berry frosting all over it. That's I don't put metaphors in my own novels because I don't do metaphors well. They suck. But the thing about it is Jay Kristoff in Nevernight, he fucking does metaphors like nobody else since Raymond Chandler. Anyway, Nevernight. I'll probably review these other ones. I mean, I've read them all. I'll probably reread them soon and review them. But Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Look at that great cover. If you want to read one of the most exciting fantasies that's come out in a while, you gotta get Nevernight, man. You gotta get it if your stomach can handle it. I'm telling you, a lot of you weaklings just aren't gonna be able to handle it. You're just not. I mean, you gotta have some fortitude to read through this. You really do. 9.5 out of 10.